Buenos dias, familia. Here we are once again on the Wandering Brokers podcast, and I'm here with my phenomenal co-host, Marquisa Edmond. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Like last spring.
Yeah, I missed this.
We've never done this like face to face.
Never face to face. Everyone that saw us before, we were at home office on our computers, just having a good time like we always do. Right?
Ain't that something?
Uh-huh.
Like you are actually human, man. Like,
I know.
So we are here to
Yeah.
talk about the real estate market and life, man. Right? Like things are awesome.
Yep.
Positive mindset.
Always.
How you been?
Doing good. How about you?
I have been. Well, here we are. We are at the Linda Vista Rehoboth Beach office.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
This has a good vibe.
We're gonna call it the Linda Vista Studios. You know, we are having fun.
Yeah.
We're getting started. The season is right around the corner, the spring season.
Yeah.
So we are excited for that. Our partner agents are phenomenal, kicking butt, taking numbers. And, you know, the tribe as a whole is growing. You know, our families are healthy.
Yep.
We're dealing with the challenges that the last 2 years has presented with an open mind, embracing everybody around us and pushing forward. You know,
Still pushing.
leaning in. So, yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to keep pushing, right?
That's right.
Because that's all
right.
we know how to do.
That's right. I just got back from a phenomenal trip.
Where did you go?
Well, I was in, I just got back this morning.
And you're here
12:30.
now.
12:30 this morning from, what's Nevada, man, with some phenomenal brokers. It's like, you know, it was like 23 other brokers from around the nation.
Wow.
And I had the opportunity to sit with them and listen to industry experts
Wow.
talk about what's happening, what are the trends, what's coming next. So it was just exciting to know that we are there. We are following. We are ahead of the trends in regards to what the future of real estate is looking, what the future of a real estate office looks like.
Yeah.
So it was exciting to be invited to something like that. You know,
You charged up?
what? I am pumped. You know, I am pumped. So I just wanted to hear from you. I know that the inventory right now is extremely low. And when I say inventory, I'm talking about houses for sale is extremely low. Actually,
Yeah.
I was just looking the other day, I'm seeing that nationally they were talking about how there are more new builds than actually resales. So that's interesting.
Oh man, we've been through it all, haven't we?
Yeah.
I mean, we're still, and we have been for a long time now, low housing inventory. We all thought that, you know, it was going to change. It hasn't. Builders actually had a very, very good last 2 years. They were selling out a lot. People were lining up outside of the sales office. It was a little brutal, I would say, okay? Builders are still going strong. As you know, resale, existing homes, that is still going strong, where a lot of buyers kind of held out and said, okay, I'll wait for things to kind of calm down, the prices of homes to get, you know, come down, but they have not. They have not. So if you're looking to buy a home, you still need to make that happen because prices are not going down. And now we're dealing with mortgage interest rates ticking upwards.
I was going to ask you about that. Talk to me about that.
Yes. So mortgage interest rates have been ticking upwards for the last few months. That is intentional. The Fed did announce that they were going to do that, and they were serious. They kept their word, and they have been inching up. So 2020 and 2021 is where we saw our best ever interest rates in the mortgage industry ever, which is why we're pretty much saying it was an anomaly. It's not, we don't see it happening again. It was intentional due to COVID. To see rates in the 2% range was unheard of. It spoiled us. We felt like that was the new norm and it was here to stay, but it's not. But if you look at it overall as a whole, historically, over the past 50 years, the average interest rate, mortgage interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage was about 7.8%. So where we are now is the high threes. We've been inching in the low fours, okay, making our way to the 5%. That's still not bad
It's not
compared to historical rates. It really isn't. I know when I bought a home going on 4 years ago, the last home I bought 4 years ago, the interest rate was 4.5%. We're there again. Okay, and rates are going to continue to inch up. It's no secret now. But it's still, if you look at it in a whole, I mean, it's not that bad. But if you came into the market in the last 2 years, well, 2020 and 2021, yes, you're very spoiled, but that was not here to stay forever.
So now, from a lender's perspective, just layman's terms, why should I, as a new home buyer, still feel the urgency to get into, if I'm going to buy a house, to go make sure that I talk to a lender?
Good question, because the prices of homes are not going down. So if you are seriously interested in becoming a homeowner today is still your day, because next month it'll cost you more for the same home. Okay, and if it doesn't cost you more for the same home, it will at some point. There were some buyers that decided to wait a little longer in this market, and now we're in a position where they're buying in higher than if they would have when they initially said, hey, and they are coming in with a higher mortgage interest rate than they would have, okay? Like we said, rates are still lower than they've historically ever been. Back in the 80s, right, rates were around 18%. I know that sounds a little dramatic there, but it's the truth, 4.5%. Is still not bad. It's just that what we experienced during 2020 and 2021, that was intentional to keep the housing market going. It worked, okay? But then we came into dealing with inflation, all right? And then now we're at a point where the Fed is saying, hey, rates need to be where they are now, and they are going to increase them again. But don't let that scare you and stop you from buying a home. Now more than ever, we need to be ready. We need to have the honest conversation that you need to have your savings. You need to have your down payment and your closing costs. We can't always rely on the seller's credit. When's the last time that you've, over the past couple of years now, we've said it, seller's credits aren't just what they used to be. And for everyone, that means that the seller is going to help you or agree to pay some of your closing costs to help you purchase the home. We can't rely on that because it's still so competitive.
I'm not seeing that. And also, we've had a couple of clients together, but the clients that we are dealing with right now, right? People are always asking me, Jose, man, but why should I buy right now? Why not? Right? Yeah. Why not? Right? Because this ain't going to change anytime soon. So another thing too, let's talk about the couple that we are helping right now, right? They are sellers, right?
Yes, they are.
They had no intention of selling.
Nope.
They came to me, 6 months ago and said, Jose, I had sent them, I believe I mailed them out something.
Wait, let's go back. Because you called me, was it a year ago, refinanced them.
That's right.
We refinanced them. Because we like our couples here.
Yeah.
So we refinanced them. We got them at a really, really low rate, right?
That's right, we did.
Now they're coming back. They hit you up to sell their home.
That's right.
And you go show them this new home with this 3-car garage seeing in the pictures, right? And they're actually dealing with the new market of the price, the sales price, that's sticker shock on the home, right? And a higher interest rate than what I refinanced them for on the current home a year ago. So all of this has been a process, and it's real.
But the most beautiful part is that when they bought that home, 7 years ago?
See?
4 years ago. No, I think it was 5 years ago. Let's say 5. And they are selling that home for $100,000 more than what they paid.
And I can attest to that because I see the numbers. Yes.
And they are still walking away in a phenomenal situation. So I believe that that's one of the best ways for you to sell your home, right? Because if you're going to, people say, Jose, should I sell my home? It all depends. What's the strategy, right? If you're just seeing the numbers, you got to be careful because you're going to wind up utilizing all that money to get into something else, right? That if you find it at a higher interest rate.
Right.
So you got to sit down with someone truly with a heart of a teacher that's going to really have your best interest.
Right.
Because if you just ask a salesperson that question, you might find yourself, selling your home, but then struggling to buy the home of your dreams.
Right.
Does that make sense? So now we have a couple where they refinanced a year ago.
Yep.
We touched base, stayed in contact, touched bases, and they had no intentions of selling.
Right.
But then the right house came in the market.
Yep.
We put their house on the market, and within 2 weeks, It was under contract. We got them under contract, and right now we are in the midst of doing inspections and stuff for the home of their dreams.
Right. But Jose, you have to say how competitive it's been. You listed their home, is sold in 2 weeks.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you help them put in an offer, get it accepted, which is a big deal. And it has been for like the last 2 years in the market. Like the celebration starts once you get your offer accepted. That's how tough it's been. But getting the offer accepted was very competitive as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. No, when we put their home on the market and we submitted an offer, and the agent was like, nah, man, we already got a few things we got to see their house on the contract before we can move on. In the midst of that house went under contract with someone else. So now my people are like, okay, we'll start looking for something else, Jose. That was the home of our dreams. A week later, the agent calls me back and says, hey, Jose, man, it's going back on the market.
Yep.
You know, and here we are.
Right.
So it's competitive out there.
Yes.
You know, so you seriously got to get with a lender. If you're thinking about buying or selling, what's your next step? And get with that lender. Make sure that you are in line with your loan. Make sure that the realtor you're working with is going to be about their business. And what do I mean by that, right? Knowing the market. And consistently bringing you opportunities instead of you bringing them the opportunity.
There you go.
Unless you're an investor. But if you are, a buyer or a seller, you want to work with someone that's going to actively be bringing you deals before you bring it to them, because the facts of the matter is right now, everybody's online, right? So you can find stuff. So I want to make sure that I'm beating my client to the punch, bringing them opportunities.
Yeah.
And how does that happen? Is by consistently every day being on that MLS and making sure that I'm studying the market to keep my people educated.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes good sense to me. I'm excited.
So, in regards, I just want to triple down on interest rate. Why are interest rates so important, right? Because I know that I deal with a lot of people that, it's just like, tell me how much I'm paying. No, but you need to understand what kind of loan you're going to get yourself into.
Yes. Interest rates affect your monthly mortgage payment, how high or low your monthly mortgage payment is going to be. But we're finding with the price of homes, that sticker price, we've got to get the best rate we can get, because the cost of buying a home itself puts you at a mortgage payment where you may not have expected. However, there's always a positive. If you compare the current mortgage rates or typically what your average monthly payment is based on the purchase price and all that, and what you're putting down is still more reasonable than paying rent these days.
Yes, sir.
So rent has gone up, okay? And rent is quite expensive, and that's money you're never going to see back. You're never going to see that money every month, okay? With a home, it's always the right time to buy at some point, depending on your specific situation. You have to look at your situation, because that money is going into your home. That's your asset. That's your investment. So that when we have the couple like we have that's able 7 years later to sell it and make $100,000 profit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Where else can you get a return like that in 7 years?
I'm just saying.
I mean, hey, I'll take my chances with that investment,
That's
right?
all the time.
But now coming in at a higher interest rate, that does affect your monthly mortgage payment. The only, and I always try to find a positive, right? You do get to write off the mortgage interest on your taxes at the end of the year.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
What that means is if you have a child, right? If you have children, you get a tax credit. At the end of the year, you receive a benefit that helps you reduce the amount that you're going to have to pay in taxes if you have children. The mortgage is the easiest way to explain that is it does work somewhat in the same way. You get to write off the interest that you paid on your mortgage. So right now the rate's a little higher. So that's more interest you're paying every year, okay, 12 months out of the year. You get to write that off with some other things tied to having a mortgage. When you rent, you're giving that money to an owner, a landlord that's taking that money to pay that, right? The benefit is this comes to you. This is something that becomes to you, and as your home appreciates in this market, because at some point, I think I heard a couple of times last year, I'll just wait for the market to drop.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for, and I'm thinking, oh man, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I'll wait for the price of homes to just drop. This is just gonna, at some point, prices are gonna come down and then I'll buy in. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
It has not happened. And then me personally, my opinion is, how can that happen when we have such low inventory? Back in 2008, I remember that housing market. Well, we were in a different position as far as our inventory. We are going into a spring market, summer, which is our best time of the year,
That's
right?
Yep.
But we still have no inventory. So it might be a brutal summer again. I know last summer was tough, multiple offers. And the reason why I say that is because we're still in the position where some buyers, when you go to buy a home, you have in the state of Delaware, part of your closing cost is you will pay 2% of the purchase price as a transfer tax. And that seller also pays.
Say that again.
Okay, I'm getting excited. All right. So in the state of Delaware, part of your closing costs, all right, which are all the costs that it takes to get you running as a homeowner. So even
Like what?
Your appraisal, your attorney fees. Why is an attorney important? Because they're running the title on the home to make sure there are no liens, no judgments, anything that's going to hurt the ownership of you once you take ownership of that property, right? That's very important. All right, you don't want anyone coming after you. You don't want anything as a reason why a mortgage lender cannot lend to you. And when you sell your home, you want to be free and clear. You don't want anything holding you up from your profit, right?
Yep.
So you have your attorney fees. You have an escrow cushion for your taxes and insurance because your mortgage payment includes your homeowner's insurance and taxes, right? For the most part, in general, for most people, right? All those things that it takes to get you running are your closing costs. That is always the case anytime you buy a home. In addition to that, you have your down payment. That down payment goes towards the mortgage. So whatever your purchase price is, it will come in lower once you have your down payment, right? Unless you're in the USDA program, which is 0% down, or your VA, which is 0% down. But even with USDA and VA, you still have closing costs, okay? There are costs there that it takes to get you running as a homeowner, and those belong to you. But all that to say is there are costs that come with the home. And I'm getting so excited that I forgot why we started going in this direction. So you got to bring me back. You messed me up because we can talk here for days, but we can't. They won't let us. But so why were we going in this
Don't get me wrong. I was so caught up in what you're saying right now that I was lost too.
Well, everybody will forgive us. So from here, we'll just keep going down this lane, right? But all that to say, but we said that earlier. This is why you have to be ready to go with your savings.
That's right.
You have to be, all right? I think I remember writing off the mortgage interest and those things on your taxes. That's the benefit
That's
of...
right. That's where you were.
Yeah. So, and then interest rates being so high and things of that nature. At the end of the day, it all works to its advantages and at some point. With having a mortgage, with owning a home, it all works to your advantage. And that's what an asset is supposed to do at the end of the day. It's not really considered an asset if you don't receive some type of benefit from it, right?
Yep.
It's going to cost you to some extent. But an asset is something, and it's built to be something that you can benefit from. If it's not, you might want to unload that, right?
Yeah.
Because,
but you just said the key term, but I want to stay focused, man.
Okay.
Assets.
Yeah.
We always talk about assets versus liabilities.
Yes.
So you just said that's what a home is.
Yeah.
We just saw it on that couple that, they are becoming our prime example.
Right.
Assets.
Yeah.
I personally feel that outside of your investing in your family,
yeah,
real estate is the next best thing in this society.
Yeah, it's been around for a
what I
while.
mean?
And
if you are a homeowner, you are an investor. If you are a homeowner, you are an investor. So believe it or not, you are already in the game. So now our thing is always, and especially here within our tribe, that's our claim to fame. Our desire is to make more investors.
Right.
Our desire is for us to continue to grow as investors.
Right.
And it can all start with one house.
One house had a return of $100,000. I don't know what else to say about that, but I've invested in stocks.
That's right.
I've tried stocks, but I've never made 6 figures in 7 years off of stocks.
I'll tell you this.
But I'm not that good at it.
That's
so
right. I'll tell you this. Over the past week, one of the takeaways from me from the past week that I just spent in Nevada is that, invest in what you understand. I can invest in what you understand.
That's a very good point.
So, but then, you might say, but how can I invest? How can I get to understand it? It's by linking up with individuals who are already in it.
Yeah.
Linking up with individuals who are truly having fun, succeeding. But remember, part of succeeding is failure. There's people that have made the mistakes, people who have been able to get up and still continue to push forward.
Yes.
And I can attest for all that for myself, but it's changed my life. Yes. And it's changed the lives of everybody that's running with us. And when I'm saying running with us, all our partner agents, I got great partner agents. I'm the broker of the house. And then I got a bunch of partners. They're not just agents, they are partners. We are equally involved in many different ventures that all was born from owning a house.
Yes. And I like to add, those in your circle should not have to go through what you've gone through.
That's
because
right.
You already went through it, right? So you bring that to the table. Bingo. They should not have some of the struggles or the hardships you had. You already took that on. You accomplished it, and you learned from that, right?
That's right.
So there are some things that people in your circle, that's the advantage of having someone that's been through it, knows their way back. If it ever happens again, can share that. They shouldn't have to go through the same that you went through.
That's right. That doesn't mean, though, that in 6 months you'll have what others have. The work still has to be put in.
That's
right. You're still going to have your own pitfalls, right? However, they might not be as deep.
Right.
If you listen.
Right.
If you take advice.
Right. And it won't take them as long to get back as it did when you had to go through it.
Man,
so
it was hard. It was hard. And then the lessons, especially when investing.
Oh man, investing is I don't know if you speak about success in investing as much as you speak about failure. Right. Because there's no way around failure when you're investing. There's no way around it. And I know a point in business, I bought my first home, what was it, 22? Yeah, that was new construction. And I learned so much about, just wanting to have a house and things like that. And then, I even, although this is my passion, things like that, I remember my mortgage broker got over me. I mean, he structured it so, I didn't know what was on the paper. I got to the point where I just signed because at this point I'm too far in. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm already emotionally attached to the home. I know about mortgages, but the way he structured that mortgage, I did refinance, of course, you know what I mean? But it really put me in the perspective of like, man, even I don't understand how my first mortgage was built.
Man, that's a phenomenal. So I got a phenomenal question for you.
Yeah.
So how do I, first time home buyer or already own a home, but now I'm selling for the first time and I'm getting ready to buy, right? When you have more kids, how do I protect myself from being in that position?
Yeah. Yeah.
How? What advice do you have for me? Like, hey, man, I'm getting ready to level up.
Right.
But I got to go get this loan.
Yeah.
The lender seems good, but how do I fine print? How do I prevent myself from getting hit like that?
It's so hard to say, but it's the truth. You have to know, like, and trust a person because you can't be an expert at everything. Smart people get people that are smarter than them.
Woo.
To work in their circle. Right. So if I want to build something, I'm going to get the smartest people I can find. And I need them to be smarter than me because of the level that I want to go to, right?
Yep.
So I want you to be at a level above me. I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. But when you genuinely talk to an agent or a lender on the phone, you get to know, like, and trust them. No one's perfect. So your lender may make mistakes, okay? Your agent may make mistakes. Everyone's human. But if you have the same purpose and mission, that's where you take a lot of the load off. So a lot of times your lender will talk to you. They want to understand what you're trying to do, okay? So we may have some roadblocks, whatever the case may be, but we all have the same goal in mind. I want to help you do this with your kids. I looked up your home. I see where you're going, okay? What's the best way we can do that? Sometimes you may not fit one program, but we explain why you don't fit that program. We've had to change gears along the way. Sometimes we've had to switch from USDA to FHA for whatever reason. Your debt to income ratio could change. That changes big things because now you went from having no down payment to having a down payment, right? These are all things that you have to be able to trust and work along the way.
Boom.
Yeah.
So, you can tell this is live. We got awesome clients walking in, babies screaming all over the place. That's a phenomenal thing.
Yes.
So, where do we go from here?
Oh man, well it's good to be back,
That's
and
right.
we could do this forever.
That's right.
So we don't want to get
what we are, our goal is that we will be bringing you market updates regularly. If you got any questions, please send us a message.
Yeah.
You know, Marquisa, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, you can always reach me on Facebook. I'm Marquisa Edmond, Mortgages with Marquisa. Okay. My email address is medmond@twmortgage.com. I'm a lender with Tidewater Mortgage. I love them. I've been with them forever. That's where I bought my home. I don't like moving around a lot. It's
So when
family.
you say forever, what does that mean? Forever, right? Like how long you've been a lender? How long you've been in the mortgage industry?
21 years now. Yeah, 21 years. So we've seen we've seen a lot.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot. Yeah.
So I can personally attest to this. You know, you're a bad girl. You know your stuff.
Oh, thanks.
I rely on you to safeguard, protect, help, support, educate.
Oh, thank
You
you.
know, elevate the individuals that come to me for guidance. And that's critical. And once again, it goes back to relationships, right? And you was talking about earlier when I asked you the question, what should people do to safeguard? Honestly, like what have I seen? I've seen people make the same mistakes that I've made in a lot of things where we want to rush into things.
Yeah.
Nothing. No. If you want to buy a house, it's going to take you some time.
Yeah.
And what do I mean? I think most of the time is spent you building that relationship and making sure that the person you are in trust. And remember, man, you're getting ready to spend a lot of money and going to be paying for this for a long time. So my name is Jose Quinones. You can reach anybody in my tribe by calling 303-313-1600. We got a phenomenal, I think right now I'm looking over because our office manager is over there, but there's 27 of us, and we got about another 3 that are coming over, serving our local communities, individuals who truly have a passion for serving and building wealth.